An 1,800-foot perimeter has been established around the USS Bonhomme Richard and the surrounding buildings on the base and been evacuated to ensure safety of personnel. The Navy and federal firefighters are currently clearing compartment spaces in order to close in the center of the fire. I just got a report as I walked in that they have actual agent on the fire and that firefighting efforts are actually in hand, and we'll keep that updated as we go. The Port of San Diego Harbor Police Department is conducting firefighting operations utilizing tugs from the sea, from the bay here, and U.S. Coast Guard Station San Diego has established a 1 nautical mile safety zone around Bonhomme Richard and has closed the San Diego Channel south of Coronado Bridge to all boating traffic. Shortly, I'll take your questions to make sure, again, that we give you as much information as we possibly can, as we know right now. But just know that sailors across this waterfront are absolutely doing a magnificent job to save the USS Bonhomme Richard. They're fighting their ship and they're saving their ship. And the resiliency of our sailors and certainly of the team around them, we're seeing just incredible results. And so with that, I'll take any of your questions, and then again, we'll continue to keep you updated as we go through. We'll just do it kind of in order, left to right. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Pastorello, Channel 10. We keep hearing that there were explosions that were at the beginning of this firefight. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, there was a report of an internal explosion. What we cannot ascertain is exactly what that explosion was caused from. Initial reports is sort of a backdraft of an overpressurization as the compartment started heating up. That caused a pressurization, and that was sort of what caused that explosion. Certainly under due caution, we evacuated, reset the perimeter, and then go back and fight the fire and make sure we're good to go. Yes, sir.
Can you go into detail about the shelter in place that you guys currently have right now? What you all tweeted out about an hour ago?
Yeah, the shelter in place really is to maintain that safety perimeter, 1,800 yards around the ship, just to make sure that one we know who enters in to the safety perimeter. We know that we keep everyone safe, just on the absolute mode of precaution in case something does go differently than we anticipate right now. Sir.
I think a lot of sailors have told us fire is one of the more dangerous aspects of being on a ship. Can you go into detail just, how dangerous is a fire on board a ship like this?
Absolutely. Firefighting, well, the main thing is we're trained from day one when they enter boot camp about how to fight a fire, how to deal with a fire, and understand, live fires really from the first day of boot camp. And so, this is what we're trained to do. Fire in itself in a compartmental space, not knowing where the source of the fire is, like anything else, it's dark, it's uncertain, but again, the training and the efforts, we're starting to see the results. So the team's really doing a great job.
You have 17 injured sailors. Were any of them involved in firefighting? Were they from the flying team or anything like that?
Again, I don't have the specifics on all 17. We'll get those as we go, but as folks were either from heat exhaustion, smoke inhalation, those sort of things, we want to make sure that, again, they're getting well taken care of. But again, they're in varying facets of today's events. And so once they are getting the care they needed, we make sure they got the best treatment possible. Yes, ma'am.
What can you tell us about the condition of the sailors who were transported to the hospital? I mean, type of burns, or I know you just...
Yeah, the information I have right now is stable condition, and again, most of them are attributed to smoke inhalation, those types of things. But again, I don't have the facts of all of them, but we'll keep that and keep you updated.
Any concern of a further explosions?
Right. I mean, there's always that concern. That's why we got our friends from San Diego as well as the harbor, making sure that the hull is being cooled simultaneously while they're inside fighting the fire. Again, it's as many access points we can make to make sure that the temperature. We put some temperature gauges and monitors to make sure we understand where the temperature is, and that right now the risk is low for those secondary explosions. But again, a fire in that kind of environment, we just got to be absolutely, take every precaution possible.
Is this a fuel oil fire, a hazmat fire?
It is. It's classified as a Class A fire, so it's debris that you would find in office spaces, in berthing compartments, basically, cloth, ashy type of fire, and so that's what's fueling it right now. Is all the normal things you would find in a compartment is burning, and so we don't understand right now the source just yet of what happened this morning. But again, we're fighting, and we're at the seat of the fire, if you will, and we're actually putting agent on it, which is a good sign.
should the residents of National City be worried with this, smell coming?
Yeah, no, I would say not at all. From a standpoint of, again, we're monitoring both from an EPA standard perspective and making sure that, again, air quality in itself, if we have any sense that it gets into a hazardous condition, we'll certainly make sure everyone's well informed, we understand it. But as you can see, as the shift is changing based on, going from daytime heat into nighttime, as the wind sort of is helping us out with dissipating the fumes, and it's changed quite a bit. And if you look at the type of fire we have, again, ashy fire, there's nothing toxic in there, it's just black smoke. And nor now, because we're doing the firefighting agent, you're starting to see more whiter smoke, which is a good sign that the fire's being maintained. Sir?
How extensive is the damage inside? Do you think the ship will eventually sail again?
We're actually going to make sure it sails again, but we don't know. And so right now we're going to fight the fire, and then we'll work on understanding about what exactly happened with the fire and where it went to make sure she sails as best as possible in a very near time. So. And she was already in the shipyards being worked on. So again, she was in a stage of repair anyway. So we're just going to get right back at it once we get this thing contained and put out.
Is it clear which part of the ship the fire started?
Not absolutely clear. We understand down in basically in the lower cargo hold of the ship. It's called a deep V for that class of ship. And it's this huge open area where you store a lot of marine equipment and everything else. And so that's where we believe it started. And then everything above that is where offices and berthing compartments are. And so that's where we want to make sure that we contain it.
And how much fuel is on the ship?
Right now, I think they have roughly 1 million gallons of fuel, well below where any heat source is. And again, that was the priority all day to make sure that that was not affected. I'm sorry.
Do you get to know how much the damage will cost yet?
No, I have no idea at this point.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for your time. And again, we'll keep you updated as we know further. And let's keep those sailors, in your prayers and your thoughts. They're doing an outstanding job, and they're representing your country absolutely superbly. Yes, sir.
Are sailors involved in firefighting right now?
You better believe it. You better believe it. Yep. And doing a magnificent job. Just came from the scene, just to kind of echo that real quick. And the sight when you see young men and women wearing the nation's cloth, doing the business in which they were trained to do, it's absolutely amazing. And they're doing it, they're fighting their ship, and they're going to win. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any type of maintenance that you guys are going to be doing in other ships to prevent these type of things?
Again, we're going to learn a lot probably from this, like we do with everything when something like this happens. And we'll let that investigation and those lessons be identified before we change anything, obviously. But certainly, we take all the precautions to make sure we have any sort of heat source or anything else in a shipyard environment well maintained. Again, it's a partnership with the contractor as well as with the sailors on board, and that teamwork is firm in Bonhomme Richard. So.
How does training help going into this?
Well, you're seeing it right now. I mean, it's understanding where the fire is, how to deal with this fire, unknown source, unknown span of the fire. The training is absolutely taking hold, and you're seeing. Hopefully, we're seeing the effects. Very soon that we'll hear fire out. So, but again, it's a long fight. It's the enemy in this case, the fire. Has had the first vote, but we're going to get after it, and we're going to get to it. So, thank you very much.